Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Illusion Fox Gaming. Hopefully you're all doing well. We're going to start off today with the demo for Atelier Yumia. At least that's my plan. How we're starting off today. First time I've even tried one of these, a game in this series. So I figured, yeah, it's a new game that's coming out, or actually is out now, I believe. And so it's like, well, we'll try out the demo. Interesting.
なんとかなった。置いてかれちゃった。上まで登れるかな。
こちらに通路が続いているようです。
ありがとう。行ってみよう。
I really just need to replace that entire cable. It sucks so much.
そろそろ移動しないと。そうや。そうや。持った。持った。
Well, I wouldn't call that ground so much as floor. Ground is usually more solid than that. Well, I mean, usually.
まだまだ。見えた。そこ。それ。そこ。当たれ。ほっよっと。もっと。やっ。
Well, that's some fan service there.
そこ。ストライクアーツ。どけ。何か来る。ほっよっ。外れ。この外れ。それ。逃がすか。まだだ。どうだ。この離れろ。何か来る。ファーストステップ。
Oh, so they have a combined HP. There I thought before that's gonna be that was just individual HP of each one's like gonna be like fuck. This is gonna be a pain in the ass. So happy I was wrong on that.
それ。何か来る。離れろ。
Well, we got lucky there.
ちょっとラビットファイヤー。この何か来る。どうだ、何か来る。よいしょ。
That big green thing's gonna come to life here in just a moment. Yep. How'd I know?
少し離れよう。消し飛べ。そこだ。外さない。終わらせる。はっ。前に出る。力が抜けてる。そこ。食らえ。何か来る。少し離れよう。逃がすか。ピアシングアーツ。
Well, that was a bit different. I don't think I did that very well, but
行き止まり。あ、みんな。まずい。ユミヤさん。よかった。
なんだ生きてたか。
勝手に殺さないでよ。行こう。皆さん止まって。あいつ。
それは私たちが見つけたものよ。返して。
やめとけ。はいそうですかと返してくれる玉じゃねえ。
a lot of ice.
ユミア。くそ、どうなってんだ。
こうなったら。
変われ。
あいつ。
術師。
Well, fuck. He just told you to go packing. Well, I guess me by that means.
困っている人がいたら手を差し伸べられる人になりなさいと母は言った。友達を大切にしなさい。相手の気持ちを考えなさい。整理整頓をしなさい。よく学び考えなさい。そして母はいつも最後にこう付け加えた。自分自身で何が正しいかを判断できるようになりなさい。その言葉を繰り返し思い出す。あの時のあの行動は正しかったのか。何度も何度も記憶をたどる。レアハルトさん、ようやく見つけましたよ。アトリエにうってつけな場所。きっと錬金術師が使ってたと思うんです。あの廃墟、もしかしたら何か遺物が残されてるかも。それにあの廃墟は灯台からつながるマナの通り道の上にあって。
おいユミヤ、
何ですか？
You're fine.
確かに
You
俺は
don't even ever
準備
announce
をして
yourself
おい
you
て
don't
く
want
れと
to.
は言ったが、あち
I
こ
am
ち調
perfectly
べ
fine
回
with
って
people
くれ
just
とは言って
sitting
な。
there and watching, never telling me that they're there if that's what they want to do.
早く役に立ちたくて。
いや、俺がちゃんと言わなかったのが悪い
But
さ。
welcome. Glad you're here.
改めて意識しておいてくれよ。お前はこのアラディス調査団の要であると同時に、一応は監視対象でもあるんだ。
はい。
お前に対する世間の目を考えれば気持ちはわかるが、焦らなくても調査はこっから始まるんだ。ほら、来たぞ。
Now, that I do rather enjoy. I do, and though also really enjoy when people come in and we'll chat. And
団長、彼女が例の。
ああ、アラディスの調査を進めるため、俺が招いた錬金術師だ。先に伝えた通り、今後お前たちは監視役として彼女と共に動いてもらう。
ええ。団長がそういうのも。錬金術師、ユミア・リースフェルドだな。僕はユーステラ騎士団所属。ビクトル・フォン・デュ
but
ーラ
that's also why
エアハルト団長より聞いている
when I
と
can or remember to do it, I also
錬金術
just
師である君の
occasionally
監視
jump into a voice channel on
立場をよくわきまえた
my
上で
Discord where it's just open chat on stream where it's like if anyone wants to join
僕らも協力
join me in voice, they're more than welcome to.
よろしくお願いします。
分かっていると思うが、錬金術は禁忌の術だ。あくまでも君は調査のために特例で術の使用を認められているということを重々理解してくれ。
ちょっとお兄ちゃん、初めましての子に硬すぎじゃない？そんなんじゃ仲良くなれるものもなれないってば。気楽に行こう、気楽に。
Oh, I'm sorry.
同じく騎士団所属、アイラ・フォン・デューラ。お兄ちゃんともども
Gonna say that's either gonna be Kuroi or Rock.
よろしく、ユミヤ。年近そうだし、敬語はなしでお願いね。
I've got his stream pulled up elsewhere so as to at least try and
アイラでいいのかな。
support him.
そんなにかしこまらないでもいいのに。ほら、お兄ちゃんも。
ああ、
They're both of them are good
よ
people.
ろしく頼む。
はいよろしくお願いします。錬金術の扱いについても十分。あの二人は実際に錬金術って見たことありますか？
あるわけないだろう。
Well, I mean,
見れる機会がないからね。
sometimes there's good with sharing
ならま
jokes.
ずは一度
Sometimes, not necessarily does it need to be funny what you
錬
say.
金術が一体どんなものなのか。私
I mean, I'm a person
きっと
who
調査団の役
who
に立て
has
ると思うんです。
very little sense of humor, or at least one that most anyone can actually appreciate.
いいですか、エアハルトさん。
ああ、ちゃんと知ってもらうべき
which probably is reflected in
こ
the
れから
fact
行動を
that
共に
of
するんだからな。
あり
like
がとうござ
what
います。
I actually enjoy in the way of comedy,
二人ともついてきてください。
though that's actually kind of what comedy I've liked has actually broadened a little bit here
君が行く場所に同
more
行するのが
recently.
僕たちの任務だ。
Well, I reserve laughter for things I enjoy. It's things that I understand as being funny. There's a lot of things that people say it's funny. It's just like, what? No, that's either just horrible because, or that's just plain dumb.
「何が入ってるのかな」。これこれ。よっ。
South Park has its moments, but they're few and far between. Family Guy also has its moments, but they're a lot more common. I generally don't care for Chris or Peter character on there. Meg's alright, but I mean, Lois, Brian, and I forgot Stewie, yes.
何これ。何これ。食べられないキノコも混じってるから。
Those three
間違
I
えないように。
absolutely really enjoy on that show. But I was more talking about like stand-up comedians in
一休み
general.
しつつ荷物の整理とかしたいな。これって
But it's like a lot of like American comedy movies. I'm just like, wait, what? You find this funny? Like
見つけた。
how?
これこれ。
Like, I know this is pretty much a fairly hot take, but the two like biggest comedy movies that came out when I was in high school was Dude, Where's My Car and
アラディスに来てから銃の
the
腕も
Austin
上がったか
Powers
な。
movies. Both of them I find absolutely atrocious movies and never enjoyed
最後
anything
にやっ
about
た
them.
の何年前だっけな。
ユミヤ、フラミーの自立浮遊移動機能を的として利用するあの遊びはあまりに邪悪です。周辺の安全を確認。休息が可能です。
Oh, my brother really enjoys the Austin Powers movies. I do not.
見つけた。
But my brother also really enjoys Dude, Where's My Car? He's a big Ashton Kutcher fan,
これって
who's done a couple of things I've really enjoyed, like the original Butterfly Effect movie. And then
おや
he also did a show on Netflix called The Ranch, which I rather enjoyed. Year One, I don't think I've watched that. That 70s show was alright. I didn't much care for it. I also didn't care for that 80s show, which was the first spin-off that ever came out of that 70s show. That 90s show, though, isn't bad. It's actually a direct sequel to that 70s show, but it follows Red and his wife and the grandchildren of the original cast. Or, well, the grandchildren of a few members of the original cast. Well, I mean, The Ranch had its serious moments, but it did a good job of mixing serious and funny to where it actually felt like this is actually in the world. I mean, world settings are a little harder to work with. Bars are also a tricky thing to work with, too. Can they be done? Yeah. But, I mean, it's just entirely a matter of just getting everything to balance right. And also having the right cast is really important for such a thing. I mean, I enjoy a lot of things. Although I also try to judge everything on its own merits. So even if it's, say, a sequel in a series or a spin-off or even like a new adaptation, like the Halo series. I judge them on whether or not they can hold up as their own entity. Because whenever you do anything, whenever you like take a book to make it a movie, or take a game, make it a show or a movie, or even just remake a movie, you are in essence going to see someone else's version of that. And the question shouldn't be, is it as good as the original? Or is it as good as what you are wanting? It's, if, as its own property, can it hold up on its own? the comment on the "Is this why you've been getting pops-ups on the old man's computer when they're browsing for bulls to breed?"
見つけた。
I mean, I can. I can understand where people were mad about it.
何これ。
But, and that's mainly because, and it wasn't even anything to do with Paramount, but because Paramount just published the show, they didn't actually make it.
そして終わらせよ
A production company went through, made it, and then sold it to Paramount to put up on their channel.
そろそろ定期メンテナンスの時期です。ユミヤ、準備を進めてください。
これを機に新しい機能をつけようと思うんだよね。
And the only real complaint is the fact that the people who made the TV series,
余計なことを
and they openly
する必要
admitted
はあり
this,
ません。
had never read any of the books, any of the comics, played any of the Halo games,
何これ。
and we're just going off of basically the fact that it was really popular and pictures that they had found. And I mean, if all they were going off of was just like
これ。
pictures of what had gone on or some different things in that series, I mean, for what they made, it was actually still pretty good.
これこれ。
It's just you'd have to recognize that this isn't the same Halo as
これこれ。そりゃ。
as what you were expecting, if what you were wanting was a true adaptation of the games. Now, granted, you can also extrapolate that some of the changes that they'd made actually kind of fit in line with some of the more obscure details of the books.
心配性だな。
Because in the books, there were mention of that there were like
これが私の。
humans that weren't part of the
料理に使うとは限らない。
UNSC and were in a sense rebel versions. No, at least I don't believe so. I'm playing the demo, so there might be some features that I'm missing. But generally, everything I've seen has been just one character concept, which is this girl here, Yumia. No. That would have been in the Spartan 1s. The Spartan 2s were not a thing until they actually ran into the Covenant and they started getting their asses absolutely kicked. If I remember correctly. I might need to reread the first book. Which, because it has been a while since I read that, but if I remember correctly, they were aware of the Covenant when they started the Spartan 2 program.
これって。
Now, from my understanding, when they started the Spartan 2 program, the dealing with the Covenant was mainly on the fringes of UNSC borders, and hadn't grown into all-out war because mainly probably because the Covenant hadn't decided that humanity was in its way for its quest.
アイラ気をつけるんだぞ。
心配性だな。
I know the Spartan 3s were created because the Spartan 2 program was just way too expensive and took way too long to produce any soldiers. Because I mean, the Spartan 2 program required grabbing those members when they were kids, around the ages of like 7 and 8, and then putting them through extensive military training, various different augmentations, and all kinds of things too. And yes, really risky. But they narrowed down the risk a lot just from the start by narrowing who was even genetically capable of being able to be a Spartan. Like, there were very specific things that they were looking for. I think they started with like, why'd you stop liking Halo, if I may ask? And it's fine if you don't want to answer. I'm just curious.
Yes.
錬金術にぴったりの場所なんだったか。
はい、これ以上なく。多分昔も錬金術師が使ってたんじゃないかな。これ一休みしつつ荷物の整理とかしたいな。
ここ
私のアトリエということにしました。たった今から。
アトリ
錬金術師の拠点のこと。この場所、大昔も同じように使われていたんだと思う。
ああ、ボロ屋じゃん。
今は
It
まだ
needs some
廃
work,
墟だけど、
yeah.
これから整備していく予定ってことで。
大昔というのはアラディスの大災害より前か。
ならここも危ない場所だったり。
Ah.
特に変なものはなかったと思うけど。
Well, I'm sorry you
セスとは団長の考えは読めないな。
ちょっとお兄ちゃん、そんな近畿とか言ったらユミヤもやりにくいでしょ。
I'm sorry you lost your love of this
私
series,
たちがいるんだから。
or that you don't like playing shooters anymore at all. That I feel actually pretty bad about that.
どうユミヤ、すぐにできそうなの？
ちょっと待ってね。
ユミヤ？
あれを準備して、その次は。
ちょっと？はい。はいって大丈夫？
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
そうだね。あと何個か準備が終わったら始められるかなというところで。
手伝おっか。
でも二人は監視役って立場だし。
I really do too.
調査に必要な準備ならば
I really do enjoy playing games with people.
ありが
And I
とう
keep
ございます。すみません。
I keep forgetting that I need to message you about going, hey, when do you want to play some Final Fantasy
ほら
XIV?
何
But
が必要なのか教えて。
I am
そうだな。
I am pretty bad about remembering things like that, and I really need to
これで
start
素材の準
using
備はできたな。
like ChatGPT or remind me about things more often.
はい。あとは錬金術に使うものとそうでないものを仕分けして。全部が使えるわけじゃないんだ。錬金術は素材に宿るマナを活用してるから。マナの少ない素材は錬金術には向かないんだよね。でも余った資材にも使い道はあるよ。錬金術以外にも何か作る機会は多いだろうし。ああ、なんかサバイバルみたいでいいね。
調査団の資源にも限りがある。使えるものは何でも使うべきだな。
まずは仕分けした素材を収納しておきたいな。そのあたりから着手してみよう。
Okay. So we got some base building things.
何にしよう。
I don't know what time I'm going to be available for tomorrow. I've got someone that's going to be trying to help me with a project tomorrow, and I don't know when we're going to start or how long this is going to take. What about... Let's see, tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, Thursday. We can do Thursday.
どうしよう。置けそうな数は何個か作っておこうかな。模様替えしよう。
Wait, can I rotate this? There we go. You're on Marlboro? Okay.
今置いたのって収納用の箱？
No, that's fine. Ball Monk can be a bit of a pain to create characters on. Mainly because it is a very crowded server. I've had times where it's like I've gone through to try and create an alt. That could be a problem too. But I've tried to make an alt, and I had to wait like a week. And not only had to wait like a week, I had to do it at like 4 a.m. to do it.
アイラ、遊びに来てるわけじゃないんだぞ。
分かってるけど、せっかくならいい部屋にしたいじゃん。
まあ確かに拠点の構築は調査団の重要な任務の一つだが。
便利なら何を置いたっていいですから。いい拠点にしましょう。 この辺り崖も多くて素材集めも大変だね。
Yeah, I mean a lot of names are taken on Balmung, but a lot of the issues stem from the fact that that server is one of like 5 that are
打って落とすって
at
こと？
capacity pretty much
うん
all
その
day
方
long.
が楽だし。
へえ、すっごい。
そんなことに銃弾を消費していいのか。肝心な場面で弾切れを起こす。
いえ、銃弾くらいなら。いつでも作れますから。
銃弾作れるの？
外で作れるのは本当に簡単なものだけだけどね。
銃弾は簡単なものなのか。
現地で素材を集めて現地で作ったりできるんだよね。探索もはかどりそうじゃん。
Oh, that's good. Though I keep thinking I need to get back into role playing on 14. I just
か。
can't seem to find the time to try and do it.
ちょっと疲れたな。何作ろうかな。せーの。とりあえずこれでしばらくは安心かな。
Oh, I need to make regular ammo.
何作ろうかな。せーの。
Well, in itself, it's not so simple as being racist.
そろそろ定期メンテナンスの
For
時期です
him, it is
ユミヤ
far,
準備を進めて
far
く
more
ださい
complicated.
これを機に新しい機能をつけようと思うんだよね。
Though, I mean, generally having a deep understanding of the lore, I feel
やめてく
is
ださい
counterproductive to actually role-playing a good character in an
ユミヤ
MMO.
は今でも十分構成
And the
能力
reason I say that is because,
荷物の整
for
理
the
とかしたい
most
な。
part, most people aren't going to be having these grand world-bending adventures like what your characters have inside the story. No. Wrong, actually. I can give you spoilers on that if you want and explain what's going on there. But let me finish. You'll need to tell me, but let me finish my point. So, generally, like, your average character that you're actually role-playing, they're going to be like some small adventurer, or maybe they're just a chef or a bartender, or just like a traveling bard. They're not, for the most part, you're not anything special. You don't have any real grand powers or anything like that. And it kind of annoys me in games when people roleplay as some big, bad whatever.
周辺の安全を
Because it's
確
just like,
認
really?
休息が
I
可能で
mean,
す
if nothing else, just play as like, be one of the few people who actually decide to roleplay villains. Be like a thief or a pickpocket in a town.
見つけた。
But some people just don't do that, and it's those people that absolutely bother me when it comes to role playing.
また採取できるように取るときは根を残すようにしないと。
Like my favorite character to roleplay on 14. Yeah, She does have some combat skills, but she is very much a pacifist and will only fight in order to survive and escape and try to do as little harm as actually required. But she is actually a chef and bartender. Okay, so Emmett Selk, also called Hades. Hades is actually a title, not a name. That he actually is of a species that predates everyone on the planet. So, and that species suffered a huge calamity that in order to basically try and save the world, they split it and themselves into 13 different fragments. And so, yes, 14, because you have the source world and then you have 13 fragments.
周辺の安全を確認。休息が可能です。
And what they're trying to do is rejoin all those worlds together back into one world, and all those people's souls back into single people, so that way their people come back. Like, the reason why your character in the story is so strong in 14 story is because they actually carry a large portion of an Ascian soul. And so that's why they are so powerful and everything. Well, it's not that they were one, just that they have a large chunk of one. Galvus, on the other hand, is part of the Garlean Empire, which, yeah, they're racist. There is some cultural explanation for it and historical reasoning for why they are the way they are. They were a tribe that was discriminated against themselves because they are incapable of using magic at all. And they were actually forced out of any kind of actually habitable land and forced into some of the most god-awful places to try and live on the whole planet of Aetheris. And so they spent however long as a tribe building up a nation and plotting revenge against everyone else on the planet for it. Give me a moment. No, Ardbert is another fragment. He's like, or no, he's not even really another fragment. He is. So a lot of characters have another version of themselves in other worlds. Ardbert, if I'm remembering which one is Ardbert correctly, he is the you from the first fragment.
わいそうなのは
Yes. So what they do, and it's not really so much matter, so much as in Final Fantasy series, everything is made of ether. From the rocks to your very soul. And so what they can do is manipulate ether, and by just imagining something, they can take ether and form it into whatever it is that they were imagining.
使う材料は 材料はあったかな 使う材料は
It's the AETHER. It is more like
そんなに悩むことでもないかな
more like how the Ethernet in 14 is that those are hardened points of ether that show how ether flows through the world.
そんなに悩
And
む
so
こと
what
でも
happens
な
when
い
you're
か
actually
な
teleporting in that game is you're entering one of the ether streams to travel from point A to point B.
この調子で集めようこんな感じかな よし成功した
So I mean, eventually, as you unlock the warp points, it kind of, because in all reality, every warp point in the game is tied together. You can't just teleport to like a random spot on the map, unless you're using like some very specific rings that are only given out for very like specific purposes. Like if you go through a bonding ceremony with someone, whoever your partner is, the both of you get a ring that allows you to teleport like directly to the other person. I do believe that if someone subscribes that was invited by another player, the two of you can get something similar where you can teleport to each other.
いや見られながらは初めてだったんですけどお二人から見てどうでしたかなんか全然想像と違
Yeah.
ってこんなやり方で
And I
物
mean,
を作
it
り出すなん
makes
て
sense considering that
まるで手品か芸事のようだ。
it's like in theory,
これが錬金
yes,
術なのか。
you can enter the ether streams from any point, and in theory, exit out at wherever you want. But the amount of control and magical knowledge you would have to have is really extraordinary, and even the best of the best in the Scions and elsewhere don't fully understand how to pull it off.
刻まれた記憶からレシピを編み出し、素材を捧げることで物質を再構築する術。それが錬金術です。私にはぼんやりとしか感じられないけど、マナを直接
Well, I mean, there are other ways of teleportation other than just using like the home button. You can actually go through and choose any point where you've attuned to an aetherite in any region and teleport from any point to there.
辺り一帯に広がる自然に飲み込まれた廃墟。ここはアラディス帝国が滅んだのは錬金術の力が暴走したからだと言われている。仮に君自身にその気がなくとも
Nope, not even within the same region.
暴走する恐れもあるんじゃないか。
You can go by doing a manual teleport. You can go to anywhere. It just will cost you a little bit of gil.
私もまだまだ未熟だから。でも
No, not really, because again, if you look, if you look at the science of 14, if you are traveling through the ether, every aetherite is connected eventually to every other aetherite. There's lines like a stream that go between all of them. It just may not be like a direct connection. So your, in essence, soul is going to go from point A to point B, from point B to point C to point D, so on and so forth. Very similar to how packets of data cross through a network and go from your computer through your home router through various other gateways through your ISP out to the actual internet through DNS servers and all that. It's a giant web.
使ってみてほしい。前に何度か作ったことがある道具だから失敗はしてないと思う。
Where yes, I can get from this point to this point. I just may have to go through a bunch of different intersections to get there. They just make it a little bit faster in the actual manual teleports of just going, okay, this is a lot further from where you're currently at, so it's going to cost you more gil to go from here to here. Oh, we're hearing voices now. That can't be a good thing. I had never heard it Ethernet used for, or when you add the A. If you just said Ethernet, I would have been fine. It was that adding that A to the beginning. It's like, wait, I didn't get that reference.
フラミーが持つ機能はユミヤが調整したものであり、その上限はユミヤの錬金術の実力
Even
に依
in
存し
like
ます。
the
なんでこんな生意気になっちゃったんだか。
5 years I spent in school studying computer electronics engineering and networking, and the last 15 years of working in the field, I have not ever seen that
かくさっきの道具近くの魔物で効果を試してみ
So
よう
I
か
learned something new.
突然爆発とかもし
I actually was thinking of 40K and alternate names for the webway. No, not quite the warp. The warp, that's a whole nother thing. I was talking more about the webway, which is kind of like the warp, but also a bit different.
So また採取できるように取るときは根を残すようにしないと
No, but it's very similar to the warp. It like... So it's like extra dimensional space. But it's not quite the warp, but it does have its own problems that have arisen. During, I believe, the Horus Heresy.
見つけた
And so it's not a thing that the Imperium really uses anymore.
見つけた
Because of those problems that have since entered into the webway.
アラディスに来てから銃の腕も上がったかなアイラ銃の腕に入れていつでもできこのこれが私の可能性
これでまた誰かを守れる
You saw the text-to-speech devices parody scene where Magnus Dunn fucked it up. But I mean, the worst part about the webway is that it became the single weakest point for the Imperium on Earth.
Yumia, Jim.
And so, from my last knowledge, it had been sealed.
Yumia がやられた。回復を頼む。
これが私の。
これでまた。
Mistakes were made during that fight.
飲みやすさを考えて作る工程が一番難しいっていう。
But oh, what was?
周辺の安全を確認。休息が可能です。
I haven't watched too much on 40K. And the biggest things I've actually read in full were the Last Chancer novels. And even that's been a long time ago. I kind of want to sit down and reread this again now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'm not fighting that thing again. That thing kicked my ass. Well, no, it's still... He can still use magic. Emmett Selk is not a Garlean. Now, he generally takes on that appearance because his true appearance is actually closer to being like a 12-foot tall being that wears a robe and a cloak and you generally can't see. Well, he's not even originally the king of them. He took... So the current image you see of him with where you're at is he took... He's basically taken the image of one of the kings of Garlean. But he himself is actually closer to being like 9 feet tall or 10 feet tall. No. Actually, that is not something an Ascian would normally have. That is a Garlean thing. It is a growth that Garleans have that pretty much indicates that they're of that bloodline and have no affinity for magic whatsoever. Ascians no longer have physical bodies at this point in time of the story, and so they usually will either go and inhabit either dead bodies, like in the case of what Emmett Selk is currently doing, or they will go and possess someone while they're still alive and kind of just force them into doing what they want. Yeah, they're only spirits at this point. Some of the Ascians that are left are more complete than others. Like Emmett Selk is probably the one with the most amount of fragments of himself put back together. But there are some other Ascians who are not, who have not really retrieved enough to really make themselves useful. And as you play through the story, you'll probably meet some of them. Now, if you're trying to go in the lore that, like, an Asian spirit and inhabited like your parents or one of your parents, it really wouldn't give you any additional effects. Like Emmett Selk took over the Galvus's grandfather long before he was born, and it doesn't really grant him anything special. He's just an asshole. A really stubborn asshole. So he's trying, so what Emmett Selk is trying to do is, no, he's not even trying to rule the world. He's trying to cause an imbalance and to create cataclysms. And he's trying to do things not only on the source, but trying to do a corresponding imbalance of ether on any one of the other fragments, and cause a cataclysm that would force that world to rejoin with the source. So in essence, he's trying to destroy worlds in order to reforge them. Yes. And not just himself. He wants everyone to be whole again. He wants his people to return back to the world.
ご苦労。よし、次の報告だ。
あれ？なんかバタバタしてる？
何かあったのですか？
ビクトルか。それが拠点が魔物に襲われてな。
え？魔物が大事ないですか？
怪我人は出てしまったけど、なんとかね。
これ以上の被害を防ぐために団長の指示で集中的にあたりの魔物を討伐すること。
Well, that and I mean, he becomes far more relatable in the Shadowbringers expansion, and that's where you actually start feeling bad for him. And you realize he's really just tired. He doesn't want to do it any more than he absolutely has to. He doesn't even want to hurt the people any more than he absolutely has to. It's just an unfortunate consequence of trying to return his people is that unfortunately some people over here are also going to have to get hurt.
Yumia さんは？
私ですか？私はまずは怪我人の救護を進めて体勢を立て直すのが先決だと思いました。
君が錬金術師だな。
はい。
いいか、君は言われた通りに任務をこなしていればいいんだ。
I mean, you can do that. You might have to get some flack from more lore purists on that. There are a lot of races that you can work with. that are in the game.
私はそもそも認めていないからな。近畿に頼らねばならないなど、ユーステラの恥だ。私は行く。
Actually, I've been in a lot of groups that are a little okay with being a little less lore purist. I've also been in a lot of some that are really lore purist.
錬金術を利用することに抵抗があるんだ。
Both on 14 and other games. If you're really want to do something interesting that actually would make sense, make your character a descendant of Alag. The only thing is that in doing so, you need to make your eyes red. There are very few. They're generally a little more magically powered, but there are some who are descended from the people of Alag, which is a lost empire where the majority of those people are, or that entire race is dead.
ユミアが完全修復できない以上、細心の注意を払います。
本当にいつも一言余計。
That can keep you that can keep you a little more in tone for people who generally make it really upset. Orange and yellow actually work just fine for Aura in general. Especially if you do, you're one of the tribes from, what is that region? I can't remember it off the top of my head. Or you can just make up your own tribe. I mean, there are a lot of...
ビクトル、いいところに。ここに来たということは。
はい。
But both are brothers, or at least half brothers.
状況はいかがですか？
思った以上に魔物が多くて難儀していたところだ。手が増えて助かるよ。彼女は
ユミア・リースフェルト。例の錬金術師です。
私も戦います。そのためにいろいろ準備もしてきているので。
迷惑だけはかけないでくれよ。この辺りの魔物は任せていいか？
はい、問題ありません。僕の任務は君を守ることでもある。だが、こうして前線に出る以上、最後に頼れるのは自分の力だ。
はい、分かってます。
早速始めよう。小さな魔物でも気を抜かないように。
If you're going for a more like insane mage with an odd background, you could go for a descendant from Moth.
様子を見に来たのだが、もう終わったのか？
はい、滞りなく。
交戦中に使っていた妙な道具。
Well, I mean, Paladin and Dark Knight both are
彼女が作った戦闘用の道具だそうです。
are in a sense more magic yielding tanks.
ビクトル、大丈夫なのか？そんな得体の知れないものを使って。
今のところは有用ですが。
お前たちの身も心配だ。あまり信用しすぎない方がいいぞ。
Pugilist isn't so much of using outside ether, so much as your own ether inside yourself.
まあいい。私たちは次の現場に向かうことにする。
みんな弓矢が使う術とか道具を怪しんでるんだろうね。
うん、分かってる。
Well, I mean, it's all about finding a
ビクトルさ
a
ん？
class you enjoy, and I mean, there are a ton of classes in Final Fantasy XIV.
君の道具を交えた戦い方。あれはどうやって
Many you have to get through so much of the story before you can actually even
基本
unlock
的に
them.
は独
But
学で調査団に参加することが決まった3年前から今まで自分なりに鍛えました。
3年前から。
こうして鍛えたのは皆さんの足を引っ張りたくなかったのもありますが、錬金術師として皆さんの役に立つためにできることは何でもすべきだと思ったんです。私には
oh well,
それしか道がなかったので。
I mean,
それが
roleplay wise, you probably play some pugilists slash monks that way of not fighting to
そうい
kill.
えばアイラ、
But at least in 14, a lot of them actually do fight to kill.
そうだった。本題を忘れてた。実は気になる話があって。
何かあったのか？
魔物と戦った団員に話を聞いてみたんだけど、どうも妙に魔物の気が立ってたらしくて。
妙にって。
Well, Magitech would be generally just a straight up Garlean thing
調査団
there.
が縄張りに侵入したから怒ってるのかなって思ったんだけどさ。
彼らも元は手だれの冒険者たちだ。それでここまで被害が出るというのは確かに妙か。
Oh no, I mean just in general. Because lots of NPCs throughout the entire world of 14 are pugilists slash monks. And for the most part, none of them have no problem trying to kill other people.
うまくいかないね。
ユミヤの実力は大したことありませんが、彼らが求める成果は出せていたとフラミーは考えます。
あんたはいつも一言余計なの。
これで手伝いも一段落したかな。
あ、ひとまず調査拠点に戻ろう。
これって。
I'm actually rather disappointed that it only goes back so far.
よっ。一休みしつつ荷物の整理とかしたいな。
Also, another key point is that for the most part, there is a specific item you're going to want to get once you can. That'll make it to where that you actually make it look like you're actually using bare fist. Because for the most part, pugilists in there in 14 use like absolutely enormous like brass knuckles, or in some cases even punch blades.
ただいま戻りました。
ご苦労。先に戻ってきた者たちから報告を聞いている。
Yes, but the Elegant Empire has been gone for like 2,000 years.
私は伝えたはずだ。余計なことはしなくていい。
Oh, hey, that's not right. Crane-san, hey, welcome. How are you?
それは錬金術があればいろいろ役に立てることがあると思って。すいません。
Oh, that's good.
母子ともに罪の自覚がないのか。
例の爆発事故、錬金術師のせいらしいぞ。ほら、リースフェルトで起きてんの。
No, Atelier Yumia, the...
騎士団は何をやってたんだ。
責任を取らせなさいよ。一体どれだけの人が家を失ったと思ってるの。
Unfortunately, with the mechanics of how 14 works, you can't actually remove the weapon.
ユミオ？
If you remove, the only way you can remove the weapon is to equip another.
なんでもないです。
ともかく報告は了解した。続く任務については団長から話がある。
The weapon you have equipped is what determines what class you are in that game. So it absolutely requires you. So far in this Atelier Yumia game, we're using a weapon. It seems to be some sort of mixture between a mage's staff and a rifle of some sort. The item that allows you to make your weapon look like you're just using bare fists, and when you glam it, being that, it is an item for sale from a vendor in Mordona, also known as Mordonuts. I can't remember exactly which vendor it is, but that is like a level 45 area, so it might, if you haven't worked your way up to that area yet, it might be a little while.
そう思うならこれからも頑張って。はい。ありがとうございます。
ようやくもろもろ片付いた。お前らもお疲れ。
私たちは全然大丈夫です。
もうそうか。やっぱ若いってのはいいもんだな。さて、そういうことなら早速次の任務だ。
Also, from what I've seen of the alchemy in this game so far, it's nowhere near to what you see in like things like Full Metal Alchemist.
私にしかできない。
ついてきてくれ。
Because it'll give you some traits that would be a little less normal. And be a better lore explanation.
錬金術で空を飛んで移動できる装置を作り出せばいいのではないでしょうか。
そんな簡単に言うけどさ。いや。
And also because, like, I know it probably came off a little bit as I was criticizing the idea of using a species that was hitherto unheard of. And if you're going to criticize an option, to me, when it comes to like a character design, the only proper way is to offer alternative means by which you can achieve something similar. Otherwise, you're just absolutely being a dick without offering any kind of solution. I mean... No, wrong button. So, I need to get up there somehow.
やっちゃうユミヤ。いいねアイラ。それ。力が少し離れよう。なんか来そう。みんな気をつけて。
終わって一体撃破。
それインフルスラッシュ。
対撃破。アッパーブロー。
Well, I mean, even then, most of the Asians that are left in the game don't have enough power to actually do that.
いいねアイラどうだやるねアイラストライクアーツ
どけ。まだまだそれだ。
よしアイラ準備はいいね上からこのおしまい
Well,
熱気でも冷気でもないなん
you
だか妙
don't
な圧を
see
感
much
じる
of what he can really do
あの時の
in the term of items or anything
ここから先は高濃度マナ領域だ
until like the Shadowbringers expansion, where you learn he basically recreated a simulacrum of one of the Asian cities with basically just virtual intelligence Asians roaming around it. Basically a place where he can go and look and get the feeling of being home, even though he knows it's a lie.
最大の要因ですね。
ああ。だが、それを解決できるのがこいつってわけだ。
はい。このエナジーコアがあれば大丈夫です。これは液体に変換されたマナー、エナジーを保存するための容器です。ここからエナジーを取り出して、
and then in Endwalker, you do some timey-wimey stuff and you see that basically all life in all the worlds is based off of basically science experiments of the Asians.
つまり彼女に同行する僕らの生殺与奪の件は彼女の手にあるということになりますよね。
そりゃそうだが、もし下手なことをすればユミヤだって投獄されて人生が終わるだけだ。まあこれに関しちゃ信じてくれとしか言いようがないがともかくだ、お前たちにはまず領域内部、あのドゥクス大灯台に向かってもらう。
Like they don't just they don't just have the power to create items, they create living beings with their power.
ビクトルさんたちと会う前、アトリエを見つけた時に、アトリエから大灯台に向けて大きなマナの通り道があるのが分かったんです。
マナの通り道？
アラディスを覆うマナ領域は通り道を正しく流れなくなったマナが地上に溜まったもの。
Like the amount of ether in like your character is like maybe 1,000th. Oh, welcome back, Crane-san. It's maybe like 1,000th of an Asian soul. And the amount of ether they would have to handle to try and like recreate one of themselves is so vast that even they can't do so.
今はそうとしか言えなくて。
理論上賞賛はある。あとは弓矢次第だな。
私次第。近畿に触れるなんてリスクを冒してまでわざわざ調査団としてここにやってきたのはこのためです。この力で調査団の役に立てるなら、私は私にしかできないことをしたい。
だそうだが、
僕たちは与えられた任務を遂行するのみです。
I mean,
すまねえな。
the ability to just create life like that is
任せたぞ。
something that's been lost since with the loss of the ASEAN people.
この任務失敗はできない。できることは全部やらないと。ごめんなさい。東大に向かう前にもう少し装備を整えておきたくて。
I don't know. Let's see if we can look up who's the voice
慎重な
actress.
のは悪いことじゃない。初めのうちは特にな。
装備って何を準備するの？
そうだな。いろんな状況に対応できるようにもう少しバリエーションが欲しいところかな。新しい道具が作れないかちょっと試してみようと思う。そろそろ移動しないと。
It is. Let's see. It is. The voice actress for Yumia is Wakana Mochi. I screwed that up pretty bad. See what else she's done. Japanese voice actress.
エナジーがあってもちょっと辛いかも。
エナジーコア問題なく稼働中ですが、可能な限り早急に離れることを提案します。
She's done a lot of one-off characters. A lot of single-season animes.
ちょっと疲れたな。
But not actually that long of a career, or much to put on there.
そろそろ移
Like
動し
looks
ないと。
like her longest role other than this is the Duke of Death and his maid. No, she's not bad. I still could have sworn I'd put it to English voice acting, but sometimes that's not really an actual option. I may have just turned on, may have just been for subtext, but.
また採取できるように取るときは根を残すようにしないと。
Wait, where am I going? Where do I need to go?
これって
I'm so glad I was actually able to find who was the voice actress, because so many times when I try and look up who the voice actor or actress is in games, I cannot find who they are.
高濃度
And
マナ
it
領域の
annoys
脱
me
出を
so
確認
often.
ずいぶんかかりましたね。
この辺り何かありそう。
ユミヤ準備
当然できてます。まだまだ少し離れよう。前に出る。
アッパーブロー
No, it is not Shin.
行くよお兄ちゃん。
あまり飛び出しすぎるのよ
この何これ。ここって魔物の巣。やばいところ来たかも。これって。
So, basically, what would prevent that is that in order for that to work, they would then not only have to have gone to the future, they would then have to go back to the past, which would fuck up the whole continuity of everything. In fact, they made it very clear during that, because they very quickly found that you...
面倒なやつがうろついてるみたい。
Something's running towards me, and I did not want it running into me. They made it very clear that they knew you were from the future, and that you could not give any information, as it would completely ruin everything. And that not only that, but when you returned back to your time, they would forget all about your presence of having been there. As it would have nothing to do with them doing it. The actual like continuity of the universe would do it. It is, as far as I can tell you, a self-correcting timeline.
フラミーは超高性能自律型探索補助装置
In
です。
Final Fantasy XIV.
どんな環境にも適用可能です。
No, you remember them. They forgot you. And by nothing they did to themselves, but by the universe going,
数で押されると
no,
危険です。
we can't have this. Like, the universe allowed you to go back because it was, because it did not actually change the timeline.
Found mana完結線だ。これなら。どうしたのユミヤ？ここに何かあるの？地面からマナが溢れてる場所を見つけた。これも錬金術に使えるはず。
僕らにはぼんやりとしか感じられないが。
You wouldn't have any splinter timelines coming off of it, which would also prevent you from being able to move forward, because that would inevitably create paradoxes and parallel universes.
それだけ作れるものも増えていくと思います。
ほ
う。ユミヤが何を作る気なのか見せてもらいますか。なんか緊張するな。
Which is, there's only one Final Fantasy XIV timeline, yes. Not only that, but no, the old man wouldn't last that long, because all life basically died at a specific point in time. that you find out about in Endwalker on Aetheris. The, no. Long before Aetheris, when Godel, Hydaelyn, and Zodiark came into being, they wiped out all life on the planet, including all the Ascians. It has absolutely nothing to do with Final Fantasy XI. Like Final Fantasy XI is another like universe. All the Final Fantasy games, for the most part, are all like their own universe. That it's all in like one giant multiverse of Final Fantasy, according to good old Yoshi P. I think the only Final Fantasy games that are actually in the same universe that aren't numbered the same is Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy 12, and there's a non-Final Fantasy titled game that is also in that same world. Vagrant Story. All three of those games are same world, different points in time. I have never gotten around to watching the Idol anime. I guess I probably should have watched some anime since the 15th was International Anime Day. But I did not get around to actually doing that. I was too busy working on too many different things, unfortunately. I always feel like all the things that it's just like are like these really neat, fun holiday things would be really kind of cool to do. No, even like the fragments of Ascians, like they have no ability to impart anything to people. Any kind of power or anything. Until basically like enough of their fragments had actually joined back together. Emmett's a whole different story. So at the very end, there's this whole like special council of Ascians, and the majority of them worked to impart just Emmett Silk's soul into Oracite, which was then set on basically a time release, with the sole job of reuniting all the fragments that they were going to create to bring the world and the Ascian people back to being together. Yes, but it's more. It doesn't change anything about that person other than basically the mind in charge.
作れるものが増えれば、それだけできることも増える。できることが増えれば、調査団の役に立てる場面もきっと増える。きっとこれが私の中の可能性を広げ
And
る
then, like I
一歩に
said,
なる。
Emmett Selk is one of a very specific group that's capable of doing it. It would not. It would literally mean you are saying your character is the son of one of the most lore important people in the whole Final Fantasy XIV world. So generally what happened is after Zodiark and Hydaelyn were formed, Hydaelyn threw Zodiark into basically a jail cell, and then she went through and kind of brought some life into the universe through basically grabbing memories of the various experiments that they had created, and then over the 100,000 years since the Ascian people were eradicated, or in a sense I'd say exterminated, that life that Hydaelyn originally formed has evolved in a myriad different ways, thus bringing in the Mikote, the Ra, humans, Lalafell, and all of them. That is actually described at one point during the story, and it is literally, and from the words that were used, you could see everything that was happening, but you could do nothing to stop it.
なんだか不思議。いろんな記憶の揺らめきを感じる。まるでたくさんのマナが一つに集まったような。
対象の結晶はマナの集合体です。
The only Ascian in the lore that had enough juice to actually pull that off is Emmett Selk. Oh, there's one other, but there's things that end that as well in the story.
ちょっと疲れたな。おや。 何作ろうかな。使えそうなのは。
Well, he's not just any one fragment. He travels between the fragments as he pleases. He is not bound to any one fragment.
材料はあったかな。材料はあったかな。こんな感じかな。
He was literally the last full Asian. There's a couple others that are fragments that don't have anywhere near
うまくできたか
the
な。
kind of juice or power needed to do anything along the lines.
どうしよう。
Like the only Asians that even got fragments that moved on is like this one specific council of like 13 or 14 Asians. One of which became Heidelin, one became Zodiark. Well, Emmett was a very specific member of that council. And he was tasked with basically forcing all the worlds back together and forcing all the Asian soul fragments back together so that the people could return.
Yoshi.
これが先ほど言っていたレシピなのか。
伝送機っていう名前です。この中にひらめいたレシピが入ってます。伝送機があれば知識や情報、人の記憶までいろんなものを記録できるんです。
この瓶の中に情報が全然想像つかないや。
これもアラディスが生み出したコード技術の一つか。
今の私にできるのは道具の作り方を記録するくらいですけどね。今はまだわからないことも多いけど、経験を重ねていけばきっとここでの時間を有意義に使わないと。
Okay, this is a skill tree.
この調子で作れるものをどんどん増やしていけば、もっとみんなの役に立てるかな。
ユミヤ、準備が整ったら東大に行こ
う。マナ領域の解消見せてもらうぞ。
また採取できるように取るときは根を残すようにしないと。 た。これってこれアイラ、準備はいい？いつでも平気。そこ。そう。
やったなアイラ。
ストライクアーツ。まだまだ。それ
終わらせる。
Yes. Well, no, there is one more who's known, but he was only like half of the Asian.
少し鼻ピクトルさんいいですね。
And he was kind of on the more insane scale. And
何これ。
yeah.
これって私たちの調査で世間の錬金
I
術に対
can't
する
remember the
印
name.
象は
It's been so long since
どん
went
な
through
大きな事実を明らかにしても
those MSQ
初めは
chapters.
些細な影響にとどまるでしょう。しかし何も行動しなければそうした些細な影響すらも発生しません。
そっ
I
か
am sorry to disappoint on that.
そうだよね。この辺り何かありそう。
そして終わらせよう。いいぞユミヤ。
終わらせる。そうや。まだまだもっと。てや。てや。何これ。てや。組んでおこう。また採取できるように取るときは根を残すようにしないと。あ、綺麗な鳥。ほっよっ。見つけた。まだまだ。何これ。
I know I could have sworn I saw a chest somewhere over here in this area.
よっほっやっ。まだまだ。何これ。ほっよっ。ういた。エナジーがあるとはいえ怖いものは怖いな。
I'm not seeing where I saw that chest earlier.
アイラ、準備はいい？いつでも平気。これならぶっ飛べ。ラッキーよ、無理じゃん。少し離れよう。
全員敵の攻撃を警戒しろ。どうだ。
はい。
アイラ準備はいい？いつでも平気。
いいぞユミ。
それそれそれそれ。
Yeah, you are a small fragment of a zine.
まだまだ。
Your character is basically an eighth of a zine.
これこれ
I think is what it comes down to. Not that you were in agreement. That was something only a couple of the council actually decided to do. Several of the council members said that it was only the proper thing to do for the Asian people to disappear.
一体撃破。全員敵の攻撃を警戒しろ。
食材だけど
Others
料理
wanted
に使うとは限らない
to try to protect the majority of life
何に使うことになるんだか
or the possibility of life returning.
そりゃこれって終わった
Yes,
そりゃ
he absolutely
見
did.
つけた そりゃ
Well, and that's the thing. He doesn't really view anyone as actually being people. Because to him, everyone's just a fragment of who they should really be. And so what in his eyes, what he's actually doing is helping everyone
何これ
by putting them back together.
そりゃ見つけた てや
やっちゃうユミヤ。この見えない間。
それなら今がチャンス。
倒れろ。ストライクアーツ。どうだ。そこ。
Well, the reason why it pisses a lot of people off is because you're basically taking a highly important characters to the
植物の多
story
いところは虫が多いのかな
and going,
近くに
hey,
群がられる
that's
と
my
ちょっと
family.
うざい
フラミーも虫によく群がられています。
あんた明るいからねあ、そうだそのまま虫除け装置にしちゃうっていう手も
ありません。通称宝物庫。旧文明当時の用途は未だ不明です。
Well, correct. There also just wasn't any other species in existence with their capabilities. Actually, on the planet Aetheris, there wasn't even any other species other than them until they created them.
何これ見つけたまた採取できるように取るときは根を残すようにしないと
てや行くよお兄ちゃん。これだ。それこのストライクアーツ。
Correct.
この
Like the information of that Asians exist
行くよ
is
お兄ちゃんファイヤー。
even
ストライクアーツ。
is a very controlled information.
少し離れよう。みんな気をつけて。
Well, it's very controlled information because they are highly dangerous and generally well known for being.
どうやって直そう。これくらいなら簡単。
And generally known for being problems.
見つけた。
And so everyone that knows anything about them
気をつけて進もう。
basically tries to hoard that information from the general populace, mainly as just a means by which to keep the general populace from panicking.
そりゃ。 すぐ使い切らないように大事に使おう。何これ。
And no, they weren't ill-willed at all.
持った。 持った。エナジーがあってもちょっと辛いかも。
エナジーコア問題なく稼働中ですが、可能な限り早急に離れることを提案します。
捕まえた。原石って意外と見つかりにくいから貴重品なんだ。何これ。行くよお兄ちゃん。ストライクアーチ。終わらせる。このままじゃ当たらないし。そりゃこれなら。外れ。
増援だと。
何か来る。
全員敵の攻撃を警戒しろ。首絞まれ。
はい。外れ。
どけ。まだまだ。
消し飛べ。フラミスキャン。
スキャンします。
何持ってたかな。これがいいかも。これでよしっと。やっぱり包帯があると安心だな。何持ってたかな。どれにしよう。せーの。簡単なものならどこでも作れるし。始めましょう。
そして終わらせろ。全員敵の攻撃を警戒しろ。
Well, I mean, they don't call Asians racist generally, but Garleans, on the other hand, very much so.
この辺り何かありそう。ちょっと見てみよう。これって
And you're right, they were. And I mean, it's been
また採取できるよう
hundreds
に
and thousands,
取るときは
maybe
根を
even
残すよ
thousands
う
of
にしない
years
と。
since that happened. But I mean, that also doesn't necessarily give them the right to then give that back in turn.
見つけた。これこれ。ほっ、まだまだ。よっ。まだまだ。これってほっ、よいしょ。よっと。これこれ。スキャンして。
スキャン開始。調査記録の充実はフラミーの重要な仕事です。
Oh, there we go. Okay.
何これ。見えた。ほっ、よっと。
マナエナジー残り半分です。計画的な運用を心がけてください。
エナジーがあってもちょっと辛いかも。
エナジーコア問題なく稼働中ですが、可能な限り早急に離れ。
この辺り何かありそう。ちょっと見てみよう。
Your headphones just began to die? Okay, well, thanks for coming by. I hope you have a good night. And hope to see you again here soon.
Yosh! 早速中に。
開かないみたいだな。錆びついて立て付けが悪くなったといったところか。長い間人の立ち入りがなかったのだろうが無理もないが。
でもここ以外の入り口はないんだよね。なんとかして開けないと。
それなら私が修理してみようか。
え、弓は修理できるの？
多分ね。この扉なら必要なのは。何作ろうかな。これでいけるはず。とりあえずこれでしばらくは安心かな。
こんなことまでできるのか、錬金術師は。
これについては錬金術っていうか純粋な修理技術ですかね。
お兄ちゃんはこういうの全然だもんね。
アイラ、余計なことを言うんじゃない。
さあユミヤ行こう。
けた。ちょっと高すぎたかも。
Falling to my death was not what I
エナジ
originally
ー
had
があって
intended.
助かった。何これ。これでよし。これこれ。
マナエナジー残りわずかです。肝心なところで切らしてもフラミーは責任取れませんよ。
よっと。どうやって直そう。急いでないし後でいいか。頭の中のモヤモヤが。よかった。どうにか抜けられたかな。
周辺の安全を確認。休息が可能です。
よし、これでしばらくは安心かな。
I thought there were fast travel things that I... Wait, well, I'm confused.一休みしつつ荷物の整理とかしたいな。向こう側が壊れてるのかな。
が残ってたとして劣化とかしてないのかな。何が入ってるのかな。持った。
高濃度マナ領域への侵入を確認。エナジーは無駄遣いしないようにしてください。
持った。この辺り
Ah, that's the fast travel
何
point
か
I
あり
was.
そう。ちょっと見てみよう。エナジーがあってもちょっと辛いかも。
エナジーコア問題なく稼働中ですが、可能な限り早急に離れることを提案します。
どうやって直す。これをこうすれば。これくらいなら簡単簡単。
Oh, that would have been nice to have noticed sooner. Wouldn't have saved us much time, but would have saved us a little bit.
持った。見つけた。よいしょ。うん、これでよし。飲みやすさを考えて作る工程が一番難しいっていう。これで治るはず。ほっ。何持ってたかな。よし、これでしばらくは安心かな。
Excuse me.
これって
Before I climb up further, wait a minute. Okay, never mind.
もしやこの台座が循環器というやつなのか。
いいえ、これは循環器が壊れた後です。大災害で破損し、台座だけが残ったものと推測します。
これが壊れたからマナが溜まってるって感じ？
うん。本来は装置なんて不要で、マナは自然と大地を循環するもんなんだけど。
これも大災害がもたらした爪痕ということか。ユミヤ、君は台座について知っていたのか。
概要程度は。この知識がアラディスにあるものに通用するか確証はなかったんですけど、これなら。
だからハズとか歯切れ悪かったんだ。
何にせよ、これで本当にマナが払えるんだな。
はい、実際に試したことはないですが、台座もちゃんとあった。きっとあの時みたいにすれば。そうだよね、フラミ。
はい、イリーネはそうしました。
Looks a lot more like dance than alchemy, but what the hell do I know?
Yaってのけたな、ユミヤ。
よかった、うまくいって。
すごいよユミヤ。
高濃度マナが晴れた。
これならきっと私たちも。おお、この辺りもしっかり晴れてる。
お前たちよくやった。
団長、
期待通りの成果だ。
はい。
前に一度俺たちが先行調査にやってきた時、高濃度マナ領域に阻まれ、目と鼻の先の灯台にすら近づけやしなかった。だが今この時、マナは払われ、俺たちは先に進めるようになった。ありがとう。これは調査団にとって紛れもなく大きな一歩だ。
こちらこそ任せてくれてありがとうございます。役に立ててよかったです。
ああ、お前に任せて正解だったな。
本当に全部晴れたのか。 すぐに元通りになったりするかもしれないよな。もしいきなりそうなったら。
まったくだ。錬金術師なんて本当に信用していいのかよ。
ねえユミヤ、一体何したの？私たちにも教えて。
そうだな。アラディスでは装置が壊れてマナが溜まっちゃってる状態にあって、だから私は装置の代わりに人力で正しく循環するよう溜まったマナの流れを整えて。
なるほど。
つまり溜まってたマナがちゃんと流れるように私がいい感じにしたってこと。
おお、ナイス、いい感じだ。
それが錬金術師の持つマナを操る適性というものなんだな。
よくわかっただろう、ビクトル、アイラ。アラディス滅亡の真相解明に未踏の大陸の開拓、ユミヤの力があればそのどちらもきっと成し遂げられる。もう何も叶わぬ夢ではないんだ。
私の力で。
君の力が調査団に必要だということは分かった。果たすべき仕事を果たしたんだ。これからも正しくその力を行使してくれ。
はい、ありがとうございます。
さて、こうして土地も開けたことだ。今後の調査のためにしっかり活用しねえとな。まだまだ働いてもらうぞ、ユミヤ。
はい、私にできることをしようと思います。ここ調査拠点としても使えそうですね。
ああ、拠点を増やしていくのは俺たち調査団にとって重要な任務の一つだ。マナ領域を晴らし、安全な土地を確保する。確保した土地を拠点化し、探索範囲を広げる。これを地道に繰り返すんだ。いずれはアラディス全土に調査範囲を広げるのが目的だな。
大きくて便利な拠点を構築できれば、それだけ調査もスムーズに進みますよね。
そういうことだ。ユミヤ、調査団はお前の進んだ道をたどるようにして任務を進めることになる。前線にいるお前が拠点を構築してくれれば、後から訪れる俺たちも非常に助かるってわけだ。
ものづくりは得意です。拠点だって任せてください。
はあ、どういう拠点を作るか楽しみにしてるぜ。
快適な感じにしたいな。いろいろできる拠点にしたいな。場所はどうしよう。ここがいいかも。
そろそろ定期メンテナンスの
Okay,
時期
so we
です。
just finished up the
ユ
demo.
ミヤ、準備を進めてください。
これを機に新しい機能をつけようと思うんだよね。炎の力を強めて暖房機能とか魔物への追撃機能も。
やめてください。余計なことをする必要はありません。フラミーは今でも十分高性能です。
It's an interesting game. I don't really know enough about the series to make too much of an opinion. But what I've seen of this, it's like I'd play more if I had the full game. But that will be it for tonight's stream. It is 2 a.m. and on a work night, so I gotta go to work in the morning. So at least take a look and see who's out there to raid at the moment. Oh, let's go raid Rock. He's playing some Cult of the Lamb with Scarletta. So. Move over, go ahead and copy and paste this into the chat. Thank you everyone for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Till then, I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night.
I feel like I've heard of that before, but I don't know what it's from. Mark, do you know what it's from?
Hold on.
Yep, you're good.
Look up name Raiders. Hello, Illusion. Hi, how you doing? If you're not following Illusion, follow Illusion. Click that heart. Illusion's a homie. How you doing? How's it going? How's life? How was stream? How was game? Tell me all the things. We're just trying to eat people. Let's see here. I want to test a ritual. Can we do... Yeah, we can afford this. There we go. Let Twitch chat decide! There's a vote. Vote.
Okay, vote, guys. Go, go, go. Is that a jab at me?
Why are you not sure about how you feel about Atelier?
That's just what Mark said. If you want to take that up with him, you gotta take that up with him. What are they voting on, by the way?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Okay, don't worry about it. Vote, but don't really, like, question what it's for.
No. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, you guys.
Yeah.
It's better this way if you don't think about it, like, too hard. It's better for you, better for the world, better for whoever you're voting on.
So, unsure if it was good then, Illusion.
Vote for yourself, but maybe do. Like I said, you know, it keeps you feeling alive.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
now.
Does it at least look
You know?
good? Like, visually? Okay, count us down.
I'm gonna give you 5 kitty titties. Ready? 5 kitty titties, 4 kitty titties, 3 kitty titties, 2 kitty titties. Let's go.
Lizard Wizard.
Okay, what did we do with Lizard Wizard? Wait, no, what is he doing? Oh. Did he just get sent to the void? What did we do? Don't worry about it. See, guys, it's better this way. Oh, bye, Lizard. Wasn't he your first follower, too? Probably.
I'll be fine.
Listen, he's gone to a better place with the singular tentacle. I told you guys earlier. All you need is one. And he's gone to the best place. There's only one. This is the place to be, okay? It's safe there. There's only one. You
Do
know
we
there's not too
upgrade the
many.
temple, or do we let someone fuck?
Fuck. Everyone's super pissed at you, by the way, for waking them up. The drop is produced by Blumhouse Productions. I've never heard of them, and it's movies you've watched have been good. I'm googling them. I don't know who that is. Rock, do you know who that is?
Get cultured.
Oh, they made Five Nights at Freddy's. Megan,
I need you to come down.
I'm coming.
Wizard's back!
Wizard's back already. Let's go. Oh, they do so many things. Okay.
So who's gonna fuck?
They made Paranormal Activity interesting. Okay, who's gonna fuck? Should we let chat decide? Okay, chat, who's gonna fuck? Decide now. Who's going to fuck? I'd make no promises on how good the fucking will be, but you're getting some. So, like, it could be worse. But honestly, you should take what you can get. They're a pretty mixed bag of good and bad. You like movies, their movies at times? I'm trying to look to see. I see Paranormal Activity was their first movie. I don't know what The Woman in the Yard is, but that says it's coming out in 2025, so I don't know if that's already out, been out. Don't know. It says they're most famous for Five Nights because that's their best one, according to Google.
All right.
The Purge? Huh. Okay, it's time. Is this a ritual to flattery?